Okay, so basically what we're going to start off, we did explain how to do the equilateral triangle. I already did one of my sides at the correct dimension. Just to revise this, you set it according to the size of one of the sides. You set your compass on the two edges of the sides and you scribe so that the two scribes intersect one another. And then you're going to draw in your triangle. And remember, a equilateral triangle is, an auxiliary view is a B type of line. I'm just drawing a little bit darker for the purposes of the video, otherwise you guys won't be able to see. Okay, so now the next thing that you do is we need to find this center point, okay? So what we do is we're literally going to first take the point that is on the exact angle, okay, of the line that we are drawing on. So we are drawing on a 45. I will project that line through there, okay? Then I need to bisect one of these two corners. Now you can set your compass on any given distance, and it doesn't have to be big. You see my compass is set quite small. And then you're going to scribe on two of the sides, okay? So scribe on two sides. So there and there, okay? Then you can leave your compass on that distance and then do another bisecting arc. So they must intersect with one another, like that. And then you will set your ruler so that it goes from the corner of the triangle that you worked from through that arc, and then where it meets this line that you drew straight across, that is the center of your triangle, okay? And then the next one you can just draw that way, and then you can go and do your construction up to there a little bit darker. Okay, then we're going to go to the front view. So before we start with the front view, we have to draw an auxiliary XY axis. Remember I said the axis between the auxiliary view and the front view is an auxiliary XY axis. And I will know that it is an auxiliary view by reading my question. So don't forget to read your question. Okay, X, Y. And then you're going to project, and please, I need to see your projection. If you are not going to do projection, you won't be able to determine where to set your compass for the rule of similarity. Okay, so there, and then I'm going to just draw another line for the base of my front view. Is the front view. I will measure 66. Set it, scribe, I have to extend my construction. I will only extend the middle one because this is a pyramid. I don't need to extend the two on the sides, okay? And now I can go and I can draw in the rest of my front view. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to connect the peak to the edges so that it looks like my given front view. This line will be a B line, and then like I said, you can use your erasing shield to then go and erase, or you can go and then just with your eraser erase, because it's already a line that you have drawn due to the construction and projection that you had to do. Okay, so there's my hidden detail. Next, what I need to do is I need to determine where my cutting plane is going to be. So first thing, I can see that there is a 33 measurement that I have to go and measure. So I'll set my compass on 33, and then anywhere, it doesn't really matter, you can measure here where they show you can measure there and there, but please make sure that it is a straight measurement that you're going to do. I'm going to measure it here on this construction and then just project it over to the side here where it's going to connect in construction. So you see, I just wanted that little point there. And then they say on your question that it is to a 90-degree angle of the base. So that means that you leave your set, or you use your 45-degree set square, and then that is what you're going to use to draw your cutting plane. And remember, a cutting plane is a B type of line, and it is not a dashed line. It is a dashed dot line, and it's called cutting plane AA. So you have to then label it for me. Okay, so now once we have the front view and the auxiliary view, they are asking us to give a sectional top view. So that means that we are immediately drawing a new XY axis, which is now our actual XY axis, to our auxiliary XY axis. And now remember, it must line up with this part of your drawing there. So I can go and draw it over my auxiliary view, and it must be longer than my actual front view, and I'm going to label it XY, and then to a 90-degree angle I will project my lines down. And please, people, focus on your projection. It is very important to show your projection. Okay, so rule of similarity. I start with my closest point from my auxiliary XY to the point that I want. Follow the projection, and that is why projection is important. Follow the projection, scribe. Okay. Here, from the point that I want to the XY, follow the projection. Follow the projection to the XY, scribe, and then these are the same, so follow, follow, scribe, and then for my peak, because it is a pyramid, you set it on your XY to the peak on the auxiliary view, so that midpoint that we just got there, to the peak, down, and you scribe. And then you go and you draw in your triangle. And this will all still be in construction because it is a sectional top view, okay? Okay, so that is now my pyramid shape for my triangle. Now, you have to project the cutting plane down wherever it touches a line. So if I look at my cutting plane, it touches here and there. So I'm just going to number the lines so that you guys can actually, or the corners and so forth, that you can see what I'm talking about. So I'll start at O, 1, 2, 3, and then the top I'm going to name it P for peak, okay? Just for the peak of my pyramid. So this will be 3, this will be 2, and that will be 1. So that's 2, this is 3, this is 1, and this is P, okay? So now, when I look at my cutting plane, here, it falls between 3 and 2 and 3 and 1. And how do I know that it falls between 2 and 3 and 3 and 1 is when I'm going to project my cutting plane to my auxiliary view. Here, it touches there and there. And remember, it's on the base, it's flat. So between 3 and 1 and between 3 and 2. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to project it down to my actual top view that I want. And then between 2 and 3, there it touches. And between 3 and 1, there it touches. Then here, it goes between 3 and P. So you see it's on 3P. That is from the line, the height line of your pyramid. So where it touches my front view, you project it down, and then from 3 to P is this line. So there it touches. Do you guys see that? Okay? And now I'm going to play the connect the dots game that we all did as children in all the magazines and coloring books. Connect the dots. And then this is my cut. So now I need to see what stays and what goes. So I'm looking from the top. Whatever is closest to me on the cutting plane falls away. And what then I can see here, that is what stays. So from the cut to P. From the cut to P, because that's now the last point that we worked with. That is why I'm working with that. So from the cut to P. Okay, and then here from the cut to 2. You guys see that? From the cut to 2. So from the cut to 2. So I'll first always work with the cut when I'm looking at what goes solid. And then also from the cut to 1. So from the cut to 1. Okay, just want to go over this one a little bit darker. And then next, okay, so next I'm going to go from 2 to P. So from 2 to P, I can see that line. From 2 to P. Can see that line. And then from 1 to P, I can see that line. So from 1 to P. Okay, so that is now my actual view. I'm just going to just erase this line so that you don't get confused. It should be a little bit lighter. Okay, so I'm not completely erasing it. If you drew a little bit too dark, just go over it lightly with your eraser and make it construction. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Okay, so that is now my section. So this little piece here is this, what you can see here in construction, which is taken away now. Okay, so I'm going to do my hatching, and remember, all hatching is on a 45, and I use my little gap on my ruler, or I use my mil and centimeter lines. This is a very small cut, so I'm going to use the millimeter lines, and I want to section into my view so that I have a reference point to work from. Okay, so that is then the top view completed. Okay, so now we need to draw, okay, so we have the sectional top view. Now they want a sectional right view. So remember, it's first angle, so right will be on your left-hand side, okay? And then XY axis, just a little bit away from your peak there. And remember, as I always say, that distance doesn't matter. Again, we need to do projection from P across, and all three the other points of the base first. So you can go and project your cutting plane already, but it does tend to get confusing if you have too many lines, especially if you're going to go onto hexagons and so forth. So just don't do too much projection at once, okay? So I'm going to start again at 2, because that's my closest point. Follow, follow. So you see, once you know the method, the drawing can be anything. You just follow your rules for your method. Okay, then 3 and 1 again is a line, so I'll do them both. 1 is there, 3 is there, and that gives me my triangular shape. And then P to the auxiliary XY from P to there. Do my connection of my lines with my ruler. Okay, and remember these are all first construction. Okay, and there's my pyramid shape. Now, again, section. So, these two, and remember this one cuts on the base, so it's going to be at 2 places. Okay, this is 1, this is 3, this is 2, and that's P. It cuts between 3 and 2, right there, and between 3 and 1, right there. And then at the top here across, it cuts between 3 and P, which is right there. And that gives me my cut. So if you're uncertain where the cut is, just go and look at your front view or project your cut to your auxiliary view, especially if it's on a flat base. Then you will know where to actually get your cut. And then this will be solid lines. Okay, and now remember, I'm looking at it from the right-hand side. So 3 is now closest to me, so that gets taken away. So it's literally going to look exactly the same as this, just turned up straight. Okay, and instead of here at the top where I could not see the bottom, whereas this was staying in construction, I'm looking at it here, I can now see the bottom. Do you guys see that? So I will now be able to see the bottom. So all 3 lines that connect to my cut and to one another will now be solid lines, except for the little point at 3, which now gets cut off, which is this part there, and that is basically that little piece that you're seeing there. Okay, so then because this is cut off, I have to go and look at where is the cut here to P. So from there to P, now 1 will be hidden detail. This line of 1 will be hidden detail, and then P to 2 will go and connect to 1. Okay, so now you have your top view done. So you see, you can see the bottom. You can see 2 to P. You can see P to the cut of where it meets line P to 3. You won't see 1 because it's hidden detail, and they do not ask for any hidden detail. And then we are just going to do our hatching. And remember, we hatch again into the drawing. So setting my mill lines on the corner, draw a line, set the mill on the line that I just drew, or that little dent on your rulers. There. Okay, so then this is the drawing done and dusted.